All right, lesson 11-4 is tips and markups. Okay, so tonight you get your homework is more it's review for your fast testing, and here's your warm-up. It says, Kiana has visited 19 out of 50 states in the U.S. What percent of the states has she visited? Good. That would be 38. Very good. How did you do it? So here's the work that I showed. So I did, just like you did, 19 over 50. Then percent is per 100. So I multiplied the denominator times 2 to get 100 down there. And if I multiply the denominator by 2, I have to do the same in the numerator. Does everybody see the work? So that gives me 38 over 100, which is 38%. Number 2 says, of the 20 students in a class, 14 wore tennis shoes to school today. What percent of the students wore tennis shoes? What do you think? Very good. How did you do it? Very good. So here's how you did it. So 14 out of 20. 14 twentieths, multiply times 5 in the numerator and the denominator to make that 70 hundredths, and 70 per 100 is 70%. So another way that you could have done these is you could have divided numerator divided by denominator, got the decimal, right? And then when you change the decimal to a percent by moving the decimal 2 places to the right. Very good. So a tip or a gratuity, those are synonyms, that's one word or the other. A tip or a gratuity is an additional amount of money paid in return for a service. Sometimes it is a percent of the service cost. The total amount paid is the cost of the service plus the tip. So you know, when you go to a restaurant and you order a meal and the bill comes, it has a subtotal and then it has a line for tip. That's where you're figuring out a percentage of that subtotal to add to give to the wait staff, right? Okay. So as we did last class, we can solve for the amount of the tax by writing a what number question. And then we can set up a proportion, or we can set up an equation to solve it. In this class, we're going to set up the equations. All right, so example 1A is tips. Amy wants to tip her hairstylist 20% for a haircut that costs $48. What is her total bill with the tip? Okay, now remember, what I want you to do is I want you to start this question by simplifying it by writing a what number question. So, what is a what number question you can come up with for this problem? So, we're going to write what number is 20% of 48. Write that down. What number is 20% of $48? Now, you could write a proportion, percent over 100 equals is over up, right? But again, today I told you we're going to translate this English question into math. So we're going to translate English to math. Okay? So, here we have what number? Do I know what the number is? No. So that's going to be the x. Everyone with me? Now, in math, what does is mean? So is means equals. Is everybody writing this down? Now we have the 20%. Now for 20%, okay, before we put the 20% into the equation, we have to do what to that 20%? Change it, not a fraction, change it to a decimal. Very good. So we're going to take the decimal is right here, and we're going to move the decimal 2 places to the left, and then take away the percent sign, okay? So we're going to write in here 0.20, okay? Now I just put 0.20 just because it's 20, right? 20%. But do I need this trailing zero right here? No, you don't need that, okay? Now, what does of in math mean? Very good. So of in math means we're going to multiply. I'm just going to use parentheses for my multiplication. And we're going to multiply times 48. And there is my equation. So now it just says x equals 0.2 times 48, and you just use your calculator. So 0.2 times 48, 9.6. So x is equal to 9.6. How much money is that? $9.60. Now, is that my final answer? No, because what are we looking for? The total bill with the tip. This is just tip, right? So this, I'm going to write here, tip. So what do I have to do with this? Add it to the 48. Very good. So we've got total bill is equal to the tip plus the cost, right? So this is going to be $9.60 plus $48, which gives us, I'm going to write it over here, what does that give us? $57.60. Is everybody clear? All right, so example 1B says a customer wants to tip 15% on a restaurant bill that is $37.50. We want to know what will the total bill be with the tip, and we want to round it to the nearest cent. Take 3 minutes to do this one. So here, the what number question is what number is 15% of $37.50? We translated the English to math. We get x is equal to 0.15 times $37.50, and we get this. I'm going to write down, I wrote down all the numbers because we're rounding at the end. So this, what we have here is the tip. This is the tip. This is the tip or the gratuity, okay? Then over here is where we have the total bill. Is everybody clear? All right. Now, in order to make a profit, okay, stores typically sell items for more than what they paid for them, okay? That the amount the store pays for an item is called the wholesale cost. I will highlight what I want you to write down. The wholesale cost is the amount the store pays for an item. Make sure you write this down. The amount of that increase is called a markup. So the markup is the amount of the increase, okay? And what you pay, what the customer pays, is called the selling price. So the selling price is the wholesale cost plus the markup. So now we're going to talk about markup. Okay, markup again is a store buys some items for cheaper, and then they increase the price by a percentage, and then they sell it to the customer. Okay, the amount that they increase it is the markup. So it says here, for example, 2A, the wholesale cost of backboard is $32. If the markup is 85.5%, what is the selling price? So the important information is that the wholesale cost for this basketball backboard is $32. The markup is 15.5%. And we want to know what is the selling price. Sorry, I meant to say 85.5%, not 15.5%. That's 85.5%. So the first thing we want to do is we want to come up with our what number question. Okay? So we're going to write this down. What number is 85.5% of 32? All right, so now we've got what number? That's going to be the x. Is in math means equals. Very good. Is in math means equals. What do I have to do to this percent before I put it into the equation? All right. Change to a decimal. So you bloop bloop to the left, take away the percent sign. So this is going to be 0.855. Of in math means multiply. And let me do like this. And we're multiplying times 32. So now we're just going to use our calculator to multiply. So we have 0.855 times 32, and that gives us, very good. So x is equal to 27.32. So not 32, this is $27.36. So that's 36 cents. Now, that is the markup, right? So this is the markup. But that's not our final answer, right? So we want to take, we're looking for the selling price. I'm going to use SP for selling price, is equal to the markup plus the wholesale cost. Are you guys okay with those abbreviations? All right. So we've got the markup is $27.36. Yay, we did not have to round. Plus the wholesale cost, which was $32. What does it give you? Very good. $59.36. There is your final selling price. So example 2B is a markup problem. It says a wholesale cost of a set of speakers is $62.25. The markup for the speakers is 60.6%. What is the selling price of the speakers? All right, so here the what number is question was 60. What number is 60.6% of $62.25? So we translate the English to math, and then we get 37.7235. Now, I'm not going to round until the end, right? So then we add the markup, that was the markup, plus the wholesale cost, $62.25, and then we get this right here. And then from there, rounding to the nearest cent, that gives us 97. So that's going to be $99.97. Now, finding the percent of markup is the same as finding the percent of increase. You don't have to write this down, but that's what you did in lesson 11-2, okay? Now, the formula for the percent increase, I'm going to write this down, percent increase is equal to the big number minus the little number divided by the original. Okay? So it says here, for example, 3A, Micah is making jewelry for a craft show. The wholesale cost of a bracelet is $12.50. If she sells them for $20 each, what is the percent markup? Okay? So we want to know what is the percent increase. So if she bought at the wholesale cost, $12.50, right? and she sells them for $20 each, those are the numbers we're going to use for our formula. So we have the big, which is 20, minus the little, which is $12.50, divided by the original. What's the original? $12.50. Very good. So now we can simplify. Is everybody ready? So we've got 20 minus 12.5, $12.50, divided by, and that's going to be 750. So I'm going to put 750 here, 7.5 divided by 1250. That's divided by 1250. Does everybody see how I'm showing my work? And that's going to give us 0.6. 0.6. Is that my final answer? Because we want it as a percent. So how do I change the decimal to a percent? Move it to the right. Very good. So we're going to move the decimal 2 places to the right. Add that 0. And now this is a 60% markup. So we need to start with the formula, okay? So this is a percent increase. A markup is a percent increase. So the formula is the big number minus the little number divided by the original, okay? The original is a wholesale cost. That's $230. So here we substitute in. That's all you do. So you have $379.50 minus 230 divided by 230. That's the original. And we simplify. We end up with 0.65. And then you move the decimal 2 places to the right to change the decimal to a percent. Is everybody clear with that? So that's how we get the percent, 65% markup.